guys, welcome back to my channel, Britain F1. If you are new to my channel and you do like the look of this channel, then please hit the subscribe button down below, and if you do like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. So the F1 2020 season has now finished. I can't believe it's finished because I'm literally so sad that it has finished. It's been an incredible season. I think probably one of the best seasons I have watched for a very, very long time, just because there was so much drama on track but also off track as well. It's been a pretty crazy season. There's so many ups and downs, so many different winners, different podium sitters. It's been great. I think we were treated to some wonderful tracks as well, some tracks we haven't seen before for a while as well. So it's been a great season, and I'm so sad it's over, but really looking forward to the 2021 season, and we haven't got long to wait. But today's video I want to do a tier list video where I rank the drivers' season, and I'm really excited to do this. I feel like it could be a bit controversial just because I might have different opinions to you guys. You might not agree with where I put people. So I think it could be quite exciting. So the tiers I've got, as at the top we've got the God section, who I think are just the greatest drivers and who have been phenomenal this season. Then we've got great, good, average and put in the bin section. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video and give it a big thumbs up if you do. So if I'm looking down in this video, it's because I've literally got my laptop here and I'm going to be moving them as I go, as I speak, so apologies if I'm not looking at the camera. But the first person I am going to put into the God tier is this man. Let me find him. Romain Grosjean. Just because of what he survived, how he survived, was just incredible. Superman hero stuff that was. You can have your opinions on how you see him as a driver, but I think that just goes out of the window when you think about what he survived. It's crazy that he only came away with a few burns, so it's pretty remarkable stuff. So that's why I have to put him in the God tier. No matter how good or bad you think he is as a driver, you have to respect what he did, how he survived, and that's why I put him up there. And then we're going to go back down to the bin section, and this might be not surprising, but it might be a little bit harsh, but I'm gonna put Nicholas Latifi in the bin, just because George Russell absolutely thrashed Nicholas this season. Their both best finishes were P11, but when it comes to qualifying, you know, Nicholas didn't do anything spectacular when you look at him compared to George. If George can be doing that in the Williams, why can't Nicholas? And I think, yeah, I didn't really see him throughout the season. I don't think he was really mentioned throughout the season. You know, you just kind of expect him to be at the back, and I think, yeah, it wasn't a great season for him. That might be a bit harsh, I'm really sorry, but you know, sorry Nicholas, someone's got to go in the bin and it's going to be you. So let's go to average. I think Danny Kvyat pretty much had an average season. You know, Pierre Gasly again absolutely thrashed him, and it was a shame because Danny Kvyat actually got quite good near the end of the season, but by that point it was a little bit too late. But you know, he did have some good races, he did get good points, so I think it was pretty average for him. Another person I think was pretty average was Antonio Giovannazi. You know, again, a bit like Nicholas Latifi, didn't really see too much from him. You know, put it in the points a few times, got into Q3 a few times, but you kind of expect that from him. He's not really a standout driver for me personally. So another person who had a pretty average season I think is Kevin Magnussen. Again, nothing too spectacular. just driving that shit heap of a Haas car, to be honest. So yeah, not much great from him. So the next person I think who also had a pretty average season was Kimi Raikkonen. Again, not that impressive, where you kind of expect Kimi to be with that car. He did have some good overtakes and good races sometimes. He got quite a few points. But yeah, it wasn't that amazing. It's quite hard when you're trying to look at the more towards the back of the grid kind of teams, just because they're all pretty similar. They don't really do nothing spectacular. So yeah, a pretty average season for Kimi, I think. And then someone else who I thought had a pretty average season, and this could be quite controversial, but it is Esteban Ocon. And Esteban Ocon for me was a bit of a letdown this season, just because he is classed as a really great driver and had a lot of hope and positivity coming into the 2020 season, but really didn't shine when up against Daniel Ricardo, and I expected a lot more from him. Obviously got his podium, which was fantastic, but apart from that there wasn't really anything too spectacular about him. His races were pretty average, so that is why I have put him there. So let's move on to the good section. I think someone who had a pretty good season was Lance Stroll. Compared to his teammate, he wasn't great. You know, he got that pole position, he got 2 podiums, but yeah, I think he had a really good season. It just wasn't a great season. But you know, he still has proven why he deserves that seat, and I will not take that away from him. But I think he has to perform great, especially when he comes up against the likes of Sebastian Vettel, and that is who I am intrigued to see how he does. If he is better than Sebastian, then that is going to be great. But yeah, I think a pretty good season for him. So let's move on to someone I think who had a great season. I never really used to be a massive Max fan, but you got to give the guy credit. This season, I feel, was a great season for him. You know, to finish only a few points behind Valtteri Bottas in a Mercedes was just crazy, and you have to give him respect to that. He had 5 DNFs, and if he wouldn't have had those 5 DNFs, he would have been second. He would have beat Valtteri Bottas in a Mercedes. So you got to give the guy credit. He is a fantastic, fast driver. He was the only one who could really push the fight to Lewis. Valtteri couldn't, and it was only Max. So you have to give him credit, and I think he had a great season. Someone else who I think had a great season was actually Charles Leclair. Charles Leclair, for me, I thought had a great season. Considering how bad that Ferrari is, you know, he got some good points. He got on the podium a few times at the beginning of the season and had some brilliant qualifying laps. So, you know, considering how bad that Ferrari is, I thought he had a great season and ended up finishing in a quite considerable place in the end of the championship. So I thought he had a great season, and looking at how bad that car was, if he had a great car, he would have been so exceptional. So I think hats off to Charles this season. He did put in some great performances. But on the other hand, the other Ferrari teammate, Sebastian Vettel, it is with a heavy heart that I put Sebastian here, because I love him so much. I think he's a great guy, great driver, but I have to put him in the bin. I'm sorry. This 2020 season was shocking. It was shocking to watch. You know, you just feel for the guy. It was just painful to watch for him, to be honest. And considering where Charles was put in the car compared to where Sebastian was, it was just actually heartbreaking. It is a season that Sebastian has to forget, and I think we should all forget, really, because it was just not great for him. Now, someone else who I think had a great season was Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of the standout drivers for me this season. Just phenomenal the whole season through. Was putting that car in places it really shouldn't be, and you know, getting that win in Monza will hands down be the favourite moment for me. It was incredible to watch, just from where he was last year to where he was this year. It was just incredible to see. Two other people who I thought had a good season is probably Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, both McLaren boys. I think their season was pretty good, you know, got podiums, and we're just starting to see where McLaren is meant to be. It's growing, they are performing well, they are now battling the top teams in the midfield, which is great, especially from where they were a few years ago. So yeah, a pretty good season for them. Now, someone who I feel had a average season was Alex Albon. And I was tempted to put Alex Albon in the bin. Sorry, Alex fans. But I went with average just because, you know, he did actually have a few good races. He obviously got his podium. But from where Max is to where Alex is not what Red Bull want. They need two great drivers. And Alex just didn't deliver that this year. You know, everyone wanted him to do so well and it just never came. But I think we did see some brilliant driving from Alex, you know, the overtakes, the coming through the field. It just shows that he is a great driver, but it's not all together yet as a package, and Red Bull needs someone who has got the whole package. And I think this is why they have taken on Sergio, because he has the whole package, and I think that is going to be great for the 2021 season. Really going to take the fight to Mercedes. But yeah, Alex just didn't deliver that this year, and it is quite sad that he's not going to be in Formula 1 next season. Now, someone else who I thought had a pretty average season, and you know, this guy should not be down here, but he is, and that is Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri. You know, he's like Albon. He shouldn't be delivering the performances he is in a Mercedes. You know, for Max Verstappen to finish just a few points behind him in the championship with 5 DNFs is embarrassing. And I think if Mercedes hadn't already signed Valtteri very early on in the year, which I don't think they should have, to be honest. Why did they do it that early? He would be out of a seat. To be honest with you, his performances have just not been up to standard. He hasn't been able to take that fight to Lewis. Max has been able to take that fight to Lewis more than Valtteri. So, you know, I think he's had a pretty average season, to be honest. Nothing too exciting, which is a shame. Another guy who I think has had a great season is the lovely George Russell. A phenomenal season, to be honest with you. Absolutely great, if you ask me. That Williams should not be where George Russell is putting it, and we can see that from Nicholas Latifi. But because George is such an exceptional driver, he is putting that Williams where it shouldn't be. Getting it into Q2 is just one thing, but the performances have just been phenomenal on a Saturday. And you know, George, I think, has a lot to work on when it comes to racing on a Sunday, but his 1 lap pace is just amazing. And to be honest, I think the Mercedes experience, getting that Mercedes seat, doing that drive, was just phenomenal as well. And that really, I think, made everyone realise how good he is. He's just a wasted talent at Mercedes. You know, we've got someone like Valtteri Bottas putting in average performances. We need George in that seat who can really challenge Lewis. But yeah, he has been exceptional, and then getting that Mercedes drive was just incredible as well, and he outperformed Valtteri so much. He's had a great season compared to what he had last year. So the next person I'm going to put in great is Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo, great season, been exceptional, and really developed that Renault car a lot. You know, getting 2 podiums. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season Renault would have got 2 podiums? But again, outperforming his teammate massively, just an exceptional quality driver. And then the last person I think who has had a great season is Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez, what a season he's had. To be off for 2 weeks with coronavirus, missing 2 Grand Prix, and then just come back and perform so great. His overtakes, his qualifying, everything is just exceptional. And I'm so happy he now has a seat for next year, because a guy who finished P4 in the Constructors, who might not have had a seat, would have just been absolutely ludicrous. And he is so deserving of that seat. His performances this year have just been exceptional. So really happy for him. Great drive this season. Probably one of his best. I think this has probably been one of the best seasons I've seen him drive. Just because even the car sometimes is not great behind him. He's just been outperforming the car. And I think that was the difference between him and Lance Stroll. And then the last person, last but not least, is Lewis Hamilton, and he is going in the God tier just because he is the greatest. He has been so exceptional all season. I think this is probably one of the best seasons I've seen Lewis drive. He's been on it non-stop. He's been so determined, and I think some great races, absolute great races. You kind of forget what he's done because there's been so much going on this season, but you know, to win Silverstone on 3 tyres, that Turkish Grand Prix, to come from nowhere to win the championship was just phenomenal. And what a race to win the championship, I thought was just crazy. So yeah, he's been great, and I don't think he's going to be stopping anytime soon, to be honest with you. So that is my roundup of the 2020 season and ranking the drivers. Let me know your thoughts. You might not agree where I've put some people, but if you do want to do this tier list, I'll link it below and you can send me your ones as well. Just to let you know, I've also joined TikTok, so I will be making some fun content on that platform as well, so I'll leave that link down below as well. So make sure you give me a little follow on that, and I will see you all in my next video.